Crazy out there.
Mine are six scratches around the outside.
I know the
I'll have to go to Dollar Tree and get some more.
Let's not go to the Dollar Tree.
Buy like 10
And I'm
pairs.
gonna have all of my house.
I scratched up another pair.
Okay, Young County,
Have you got a current?
Let's see, I think I had one that I ordered the other day.
If you don't
Young County Commissioner Court ended its closed session at 10:31 a.m. We are now
Well, this one is 16.
reconvened in open session. We have our DA, the assistant DA, that wants to give us lessons on their budget proposal.
Cheryl needs to get
Shirley will get her current.
I'm gonna pull a current statement of expense.
So what were you saying on travel, like fuel and stuff?
Well, I just think fuel's
Yeah.
probably, they go up to about 1,000, what we have here now.
That's definitely
Here.
750 is what you're at.
Well, let's see,
You got 800, but.
800,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing in 1,000, just because gas is gone up so much.
Yes, it has.
Now that we're no longer an old independent nation.
Is there a way we can do Tahoe out there?
And he wants
Sure,
to-
drive.
A Tahoe? Or you say new?
New Tahoe. Not new Tahoe.
We can get you Chris's out there.
No, thanks.
He wants lights on it too, which I tell him,
Yeah, I
you're
need
not
red
on
blues on
board.
it too. Yeah, I don't think Chris Moody's gonna give up that white Tahoe either. For some reason, he likes four-wheel drives.
And he wants a bigger pad.
His one's coming in for it,
Yeah, so he's,
When I worked out there, that's what I wanted. That they were all like trying to get these fast ones, it's gonna be four-wheel drive. It's more,
well, the two-wheel drives are scary fast.
yeah, but four-wheel drive in this area is what you really need. You know?
how many miles is on y'all's Ford?
About 42,000.
Have you changed oil or put tires on it or anything?
Oh, it's got brand new tires from last year or the year before.
Yeah, we put tire.
I remember we did that.
Oh, well, maintenance is all current.
It's been long,
It don't show any repairs or maintenance this year so far. Maybe.
Well, they haven't gone anywhere, except for Stevens County.
What do they, I think he's saying, have you changed the oil in it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not.
Yes,
sludge,
Marshall
it's
stays
just
on top of
ours.
that, Marshall makes sure.
Yeah, my only complaint is it has water in the windshield washer, instead of windshield washer
You
fluid.
need butt fluid in there.
Yeah, need something.
Rain it.
Oh my God.
Okay, what about your education, Mike?
I'm sorry, education, it's about, I can't imagine that it's gonna go up much.
About the same.
About the same. This was a legislative year, so we'll probably have a little more in books, although, I mean, we don't do too much there, so we, I think that's okay. Office supplies, I think they may go up just because of inflation, so I thought we might throw in an extra $250 there. And I just want you to know, we did a little comparison on various counties that are around us just to see kind of what our expense is in relation to theirs. And we have a population of 27,376, including Young and Stevens County. And, you obviously can see what our budget line is. And Eastland County, for example, they have $530,673.56 in budget. Now, they do their criminal district attorney's office, so they also have, they handle misdemeanors,
You say Eastland County?
Eastland County.
They've got a, they've got a state district or U.S. district court.
Yeah, court of appeals.
That's what I was saying, $80 there,
But that doesn't affect the budget for the DA's office. And, our caseload is right there.
Were they multi-county, decent counties in, just they,
Sure.
is there 18 or 19,000?
They keep out,
Sorry.
Palo Pinto, one county, they have an office budget of $353,502. Our caseload's much higher than theirs. Cases on their docket are 949, ours are 1,249. Their cases disposed are 256, ours are 491.
Yes.
That would be Palo Pinto.
Their population is about 28.
Theirs is 29,000.
Everything see here is this falls.
And you look at, of course, Montague, Clay, and Archer, there's several in there, but their total population is 28,842. Total office budget of 362,646. And again, we tend to have more cases on docket than they do by about 300. And, let's see, Will Barger, Hardman, and Ford counties. They have a population of 17,857. Their total office budget is 269,000, of which 227,000 is for their salary budget. Our salary budget is 170,000. And then ERAC, which has a population a lot higher than ours, which is 42,698. Their total office budget is 462,000, and their salary budget is 273,000 plus. And we have a lot more cases than, a lot more charges and a lot more disposal at ERAC. Almost twice our numbers.
Your FY21 budget was total, was 287,389.
Okay.
I don't know, did you turn in a budget sheet?
She's just doing it now, request. And the one thing, the net data maintenance unit, so the computer line needs to go up to $11,410 to cover the maintenance. And the copier is gonna be a little bit short, and we need to go up to 2,000 on that from what we have today.
So the computer's gonna go up to 11,000 what?
410.
And the
Copier needs to go to 2,000. A lot of that might be copy charges if you're making color copies and stuff or whatever.
Is there anything you need in your office equipment this year?
There are a couple of things that I think that we need for trial presentation, which would be, we need to be able to format our discs, DVDs into MP3, MP4. So we need something where we can do that and where we can edit it for presentation in court. Right now, we have to go to the court reporter at trial time, when she's busy, and say, hey, can you edit this for us, because we can't do it in our office. So,
What we're talking about is like maybe an Axon body camera that might have a whole bunch of stuff that's considered hearsay and you can't allow it to come in front of a jury. And what we're having to do is we have to sit down with our defense attorneys, get an agreement on what can come in and what cannot, and then we have Kim edit it to include only that information. And quite frankly, it would be better if we learn how to do that, and we have the program that allows us to do that, so we can do that in advance of these trials.
What is something not getting caught?
Terry got the numbers on those, and
And
Terry's
Terry's-
sick today, so.
Well, there's $2,500 left in your prevention fixture.
If it's $2,500, I just do it right now.
Yeah, okay, we'll try to do
And that way,
that.
that's taken care of.
Because that's been because I think the way I foresee trials occurring is we're probably going to have to start conferring more with defense counsel to get agreements on what exhibits are coming in and what videos are coming in and what content the videos have before we're having trials due to the advent of the possibility. Some of this will have to be Zoom. And I think Judge Bristow wants to have an agreement on that stuff, kind of like the way the civil cases are. before you even start, you know what exhibits are coming in, and to be honest with you, that's no different than they do in federal court on a defense case. And so having the ability for us to be able to sit down and do those updates and edits ourselves would be a godsend, because Kim's not gonna do it, you know.
I buy it right now. When you, Jimmy, they got $2,500 in there, in there right now.
There's some there, then there's other money.
I can't see it costing more than that.
I think maybe $600.
That's what I was gonna say, about 800, that's what it
And
costs.
I don't want to mislead y'all, but I thought that might have been the amount that Kim was talking about that program costing.
Yeah.
And we need to go ahead and get some mats for Terry's desk, which hers is on for.
Yeah.
So, right now we need to do that. Okay, and I know, this is something I need to advocate for on behalf of my employees. There have been no raises in the last 2 years. Now, ask any economist right now, and they will tell you that inflation is traditionally a minimum of 2% a year. So if you are not giving your employees at least a 2% raise a year, you are essentially giving them a pay cut. So you can consider the last couple of years you've given your employees a pay cut. And as I will quote, I was talking to Judge Roach about this, and he said, these are the people that make the world go round. You need to take care of your staff. And they give longevity pay. For every year, you get an extra $100. And we have not taken advantage of that, but we're going to, because Terry has been working for 19 years. I know you've been working a long time. And, of course, now you're an official, so I don't know how that plays in. I know the state pays longevity, and y'all get money for that, and he hasn't gotten his longevity. And then Amber's been here for 10 years, so
I
that.
think Steve's been like 8 years, then you can start getting your longevity pay, so then you're done. You
Well,
start
I've
at
got-
$800.
There's a lot of counties that have tenure program. I've put that out in front of this court several times in the past. That never happened yet. So I'm kind
But
of off of that, but.
they said, I mean, they told me this is a drop in the bucket, it's longevity pay, and it's worth it to keep good employees.
To be quite frank with you, I think you're not the 21 budget, but the 20 budget, I believe there was a FY 20, 19 and 20, there was raises for everybody. We did not do one last year because, for the 21 budget, because it's COVID thing. That it taken hold of us. But
Well, and
I think there's, I
Oh,
think there is relevance for a significant increase this time.
and I'll tell you, I mean, in the news today, they were talking about the fact that Social Security benefits are going to, in order to keep up with the inflationary rate, they're going to increase them to 6.1%, because they have not been keeping up with inflation. And we haven't either. And it's a reality, and then, so we are giving our employees pay cuts essentially. And our tax
Just
receipts,
5%.
2020, the highest they've been. And again, as I want to emphasize, the people in my office are not entry-level employees. They are sophisticated and have the knowledge to deal with all of the intricacies and the very important matters that come through that office. I mean, this is not just some office where we're just dealing with, fill out a form and do that. I mean, there's important stuff that's going on. And I know in all these offices there's important stuff going on, but I mean, you're talking about felony criminal prosecution, putting people in prison and keeping this community safe. I mean, I cannot advocate enough for what they do up there. You wanted to add to that?
Well, yeah, this is keeping with what Judge Roach, I think, told Dee, is he's already going to present a $3,500 longevity pay for our office, and he indicated he would ask y'all to just include a new line item for longevity pay, Stevens County, and then that money, that way they can automatically reimburse that cost. It doesn't come out of y'all's pocket, okay? And then on the longevity pay through the state, I believe I think y'all have to do one for ADA longevity pay pay, and that money comes from the state. It's actually comes from the comptroller's office based on her certification. So that would probably be two line items that y'all would need to add to the budget. But like I said, that's not coming out of anything Young County, that just automatically gets reimbursed. And he indicated, I think he would present the $3,500 to his commissioners for final approval sometime this week.
And he said it's pretty much a fait accompli. So, I mean, it's not.
So I asked one of y'all to move for a two line item budget to be added.
I agree, I think longevity is good, I mean, like in Stevens County, it's 8 years, and then you're vested, then you can start getting your longevity pay. And then that way you have something to work for. Well, you know, if I'm here for, they said years, and I start getting longevity, and every year I get more money, more money. So, yeah, it's some kind of way you did good. Yeah, and that's all a lot of us want, you know, a lot of guys want. Like,
You know, like years have to long.
because instead of like being there 1 or 2 years, they don't start paying it. Once you're there 8 years, then you start getting longevity pay.
It's like being invested.
I'm just saying, yeah, it's kind of like
Well,
investing.
yeah, but it's, doesn't really have anything to do with 8 years. It's just longevity.
Well, I'm just saying it's an incentive to
We
stay
like it that
somewhere.
way.
Like out at the sheriff's office, it's like a training ground right now. I mean, they're there for 3 or 4 months and they're going.
Yeah.
At least it might give them some kind of incentive to stay there.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That's something to just say. But
Yeah.
I don't know that I would go for the whole 8 years. I'd probably start at
Yeah, I
1
mean,
year.
I'm just saying that's what I think Stevens County does. I mean, we can do whatever we want.
Oh, yeah, y'all have,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know exactly.
3
how.
years.
Like the proposals that I put before the court, two or three different times, that's 10 years. If you've been with the county 10 years longer, you get so many cents per hour on your longevity.
I like that.
Starts with it like that. I don't even know if I can pick that up anymore, that's long ago since it
We'll
was.
start digging.
They just do $100 per year is what they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, because I know the sheriff's office lost what Miranda Wright to only raise their salaries.
Yeah, they're making more, Alnay's making more than what Young County is.
and I think it's costly, I mean, it's not my issue, but it is because I have the turnover, and if I have to subpoena a witness, that witness is gonna have to come from wherever.
Yeah.
And it's more costly, it's ridiculous, the turnover is unbelievable because they don't get paid well.
Because
They
we
have no
end up,
incentive to stay here, they want to go to other jurisdictions.
because your witness may be living in Austin area, and then we have to pay for their stay, their mileage, you know.
Turnover really affects how we can prosecute.
And it also, maybe affects the concept of gypsy cops coming from other jurisdictions that are getting in trouble when they come here. Because you can't be selective on what it is, on who you have in your pool. That's a very
They're
important.
bringing, they can be hired.
And then cost you, eventually it's gonna cost you.
Yep.
And I think that's all I have. Do y'all have any questions of me?
What's your current part-time, what's your current part-time?
Sure would like to take a
Well, that's Marshall, and he's only allocated so many hours up to $12 an hour, so that's,
Oh, okay.
so his is allocated out where he'll work
Work it out.
40 hours, yeah.
And if I could add,
Eastland has a full-time DA investigator.
Okay.
There's other counties, Palapino has a full-time DA investigator. And we've already established that they're handling fewer cases than us, so eventually we're gonna need a full-time DA investigator at least.
What we used to.
Well, would that be pertinent? Having a full-time investigator here, would that be pertinent to what
We talked about previously.
talking about?
Yes, sir.
About
Yes,
law?
sir.
Yes, sir, it would.
Yes, sir.
So,
And I promise you, it helps present a more professionally investigated DA case. I mean, we're at that point that the laws have become so sophisticated and big city issues are starting to raise their ugly head in this county that we need to be able to be ahead of that so that we can put a stop to the kind of junk that we've seen as far as burglaries of vehicles, aggravated robberies, murders, and everything else. We need to be ahead of that.
And I think that's, if y'all were to consider converting that from a temporary type basis to another employee that we could use, we would definitely really appreciate that.
A reasonably good estimate of the salary on full-time investigator.
60.
I think you get one today.
Hmm?
I think you get one today.
I would hope so. I mean, I've got to look at the high, I think you're gonna have to look at your local law enforcement agencies and see what their investigators are getting paid, and then come up with a happy number. But I don't think that, when you're talking about an experienced investigator, they're gonna be the more higher paid law enforcement officers. And, I think that, Grand PD, you probably need to ask what their investigators are getting paid, what, Alny is, and then what RSO, and come up with a number that's somehow in that area. If you want a more accurate number, we'll be glad to provide that to you.
It's getting to the
What
point.
would happen to the one you have currently?
I would assume that times will change. Great.
I understand.
I don't want to announce anything, but I would.
No, but these have been wanting that for me. But we are experiencing, with these burglaries and what have you, of the motor vehicles and the robbery of our, I mean, you're getting crip members. I mean, we're getting gang members coming to our community. And then they're going down and shooting in houses. I mean, this is stuff I saw in Dallas when I prosecuted. I don't want this in our community. And I'm gonna take aggressive prosecution and aggressive law enforcement, so.
People will probably be surprised when we have to do that here. Like a license for this game. Yeah, so.
And right now, it's easy to say, well, they're not having trials. But once that floodgate opens, we're gonna be very busy in trials. We're gonna be very, very busy in
And that's
trials.
when an investigator can be very, very,
Because
very.
instead of asking the sheriff's office to run subpoenas, they can do it. They can go contact these people face to face, download what their testimony is. That's investigative stuff. That's not what a prosecutor should be doing.
And that's what I've been doing for the last 9 years. I get out there and I go meet with everybody, do it. And it is really hard to manage your cases and your trial.
You need your lawyers to be lawyers and your investigators to be investigators.
This will be one, or you talk one investigator for the 96 district.
Or recognition.
For Young County.
Yes, it will
be.
One here and one there.
Yeah, they would contribute, so.
He can work in both areas.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're not there yet. But we're-
Yeah, we haven't raised this issue with them. We're raising it with you. But I think in our office, I think if you put her on the spot and ask what the most pressing need would be, I think she would probably tell you that that's an investigator's
And I think if you talk to Michael and them over there, they probably agree with you.
Oh, absolutely. He's very forward thinking about
Yeah.
things like that. So, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the next thing.
And if you want us to do a survey on what investigators are getting paid in this district, we'll be glad to provide that to you. So we're not just pulling a number out.
But we have managed. We got a plea on a child sex case, a plea on a murder, capital murder case. We've managed to get, because we've told these people, and they know we try cases, that when it's the minute the door opens, although I'm really afraid of what's coming with this Delta variant. Fortunately, our governor's been very steadfast in
Yes, he has.
his response to all this.
We're not site, well, home site.
I know where you were at one.
But the Office of Court Administration doesn't see eye to eye with him about opening stuff up.
Yeah, I've got the order in there from the OCA.
You got one today?
Oh, yeah, no, it was late last week. Thursday or Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. last
And I don't
week.
think people understand if they tell, if the OCA says you can't have trials, I don't think this community knows that that carries a lot of weight. You're not allowed to do it, district court's not allowed to do it, and it really, what happens is the net effect is your defendants get bold. And they start saying, well, heck, you're never gonna take me to trial, why do I care?
Or jury trial.
And so that's what we're running into.
Yeah, because they're
now picking people up, but when they weren't picking people up, they had blue warrants and they had commitment orders and they had whatever.
Yeah, you get paid for it in your jail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before March 20, we got 0 on trial officer with all our trial officers cleaned up. When we started back at this first call, we had 24, I believe, on trial officer. So that's down to like 18,000.
And all it takes is them, a defendant realizing, holy smokes, they're actually going to trial on them. And then you start, these more complex cases start falling over.
Yeah, that's what happened on our last one, we had several ready to go, and everybody put out, we had the one that just wouldn't.
Until the DEA said, now we'll take it. And that was a blessing.
That's even better, yeah.
Yeah, that was,
That was, that was don't negotiate when you know the feds.
you could do a whole lot more to him than I can,
But we'll do a survey and get a number to y'all. We'll probably have that fairly soon. Everything else, if y'all
Is the county getting in better shape financially?
Yeah, they're getting it together.
Good.
It's been grant money, I mean, and then getting all the monies off of the wells, the drilling and the, you know.
We don't have any of that coming out.
You don't have any of
Well, I like Coleman's.
I like Stevens.
that? You might, if things that, you know,
Yeah.
what
We-
we're going,
Like, we'll have a little,
$70 roll
Yeah,
is
well,
a little better
some people
than
don't like that. It'll be good revenue.
$20, $30.
Yeah.
It kind of motivates people to get some.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate y'all's opportunity.
Or as any time.
Keep
Thank
it
you,
up.
ma'am.
I'm so excited about my computer, I'll be able to do stuff.
You get that just perfect.
I know, it's just hilarious, when I couldn't pull up my presentation.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me squeeze those chairs back.
Okay. Get done here with it.
All right, item number 16. Any matter. Regarding an any other matter.
Pertaining to the budget?
Any other matters claiming to the budget after a 5-minute break.
Okay.
I don't think.
So happy today. We're just going to.
Still eating your Red Hots.
Good for you.
I had M&M's in my drawer too.
Put it on board.
I'm not a hot eater.
You're not a what?
I can't eat spicy food. It just kills my. I'm a baby.
Zero salt.
So you gonna come Wednesday and get the Stacy? If you're gonna take him on our trailer, it's a big long gooseneck. Yeah. That's a car show up here. It's not this week, it's next, ain't it?
I show my car about this week. Right out there.
Pop the hood on it and let me look at it. Get me a coal wire today.
Little heat. I What you like?
I gotta poke around.
Fix where I sit or.
Like-
Do what? Yeah, so I have to get on the edge.
I think I'm gonna wear one the rest of the course.
Wear me out. I'm working on opening roads. They make that one.
We're trying to work on brains down there, so if I need to use a copy, you know, we're having problems, so could do that.
Yeah.
It's on second this afternoon
So I got, it's going now, after I dug all the papers out of it, from somebody in there getting a bunch of stuff caught up and didn't open everything up, pull all the little pieces out. Sherry switched the maintenance, but we, between the two of us, so it's going now. You want one of these? Oh, it's sliding off. Well, maybe one that you don't need.
Can you print your name on this instead of scribbling it for me, please?
What?
On that, I just kind of like to keep track of who's is whose, and
It's
I can't
not-
read the handwriting.
You can read that hand.
Print it right down there, can you?
Yeah. Come on, little boy.
Can you write a bigger print? See what I'm wiping?
Kill it.
I have to get a magnifying glass, I have to get there to need
Let's just do the,
some of those documents we do, we have to have.
I like going to the school plan, where they take a book and you lay it on it and magnify it on the wall.
Also get those sheets, they'll magnify too. Just so you don't do it.
I don't remember what time it's supposed to be coming. Mrs. Hollis, she had to text me. My reminder, because we changed it 1 week, but
Or text her and you say, if you don't respond to me, I'm gonna call you.
stop it.
Maybe John's solicitation call. Maybe John's solicitation call.
Tomorrow, my hearing. I go tomorrow for my hearing, so.
So they put you in prison now? Stop it.
Stop.
Stacy's looking at porn.
It'd be nice
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
It's on.
What?
Freezing in here.
Oh, figures.
He don't have that on. You,
Is that on?
no, it shouldn't be.
Is that on?
It is.
Did you just turn it back on?
Yes, still, it's on.
Oh, okay. I thought you took it off.
Well, I did when we got to close. When we came back to open, I turned it back on.
Okay.
Matt, let me find my copies of those.
We're having this